example of how we think different, how we process information. Obviously, these aren't the only two ways of thinking, but these are just global, like big ideas. What I really want to point out is if you're talking to somebody who's different than you are, or if you're in a classroom where the teacher has a different personality than you do, it might be a very, very long year. And therefore, something like this might explain why that sixth grade Rebbe that you wanted to get, the one thing that I spoke about earlier, that you wanted to get for your son, turns out to be a disaster, even though your oldest son wanted it. So here's how it goes. Again, an emotion-based is mommy put her heart and soul into making the room for you. That's all emotion. The other side is a logical argument. Listen, you want to knock yourself out? Go for it, man. But just here's how it's going to work. Most couples, folks, in my experience, many or most couples are opposite in how they approach this. So are there any, is anyone out there? I'd like to try something else with you in a moment. Anybody out there found one side of it, like really, someone that's really in the word camp, that felt that when I made that appeal to clean up your room, or really, if couples are watching together, I know not all you are, if you're couples and you found very different answers, different responses, that one of you responded one way and the other responded a different way, maybe flag a hand if you're bold enough, and I'll do something else I'll have an interaction with you. Anybody want to volunteer? Any couples, again, if there's a couple that had very different views on how this worked. Anybody? If not, we'll just do it all together.
I don't see any.
Okay, so sure, Josh, is your hand up? Oh, my student here. Go ahead. So who's what? I know you guys, but I'm not going to say it. Go ahead, Yeshua. Yeshua is my 8th grade student. Go ahead. And they're both for parents in our yeshiva. Go ahead.
So my wife always, Shifki can I guess, speak for herself.
Well,
go ahead, please.
Definitely more of a word person.
I think I'm more of a word person. I'm just not sure if it's a guilt thing when I say, I work so hard to keep your room nice and stuff. Maybe go clean it up. I don't know.
And
if it's
Yeshua, Josh?
I would say, I guess sometimes, I would say probably in my own mind, Excel, but I guess I try to look at it in terms of who I'm dealing with, how they might respond to it.
Okay, so that's being self-aware. Now, here's what I'm going to do, folks. I'm going to go to the next one. I'm going to teach them Hilchas Sukkos, okay? We're going to talk about Sukkos. And for anybody who can see him, if you're on gallery view, can you make him a speaker? Oh, you can see him now. If he talks, is he visible, Chesky?
Who, Josh?
Yeah.
You can see him, yeah, he's there.
Okay, so here's what I'd like to do, guys, okay? We're gonna talk about Sukkos. Now imagine you're both students in my class, and I am definitely a word person, right? I'm a very emotion-based person. Now, I'm gonna teach some Hilchas Sukkos that is very word, and I'm gonna teach Hilchas Sukkos, things about Sukkah that are very Excel. See how you both respond to that. Everybody in the audience, listen. And now, the corollary of this is, if one of them likes some of it and the other one doesn't, realize that their children are going to be one or the other, usually, or a blend. But each person, your kids might, so when you speak to your children like this, so Yeshua, if you said you're Excel and you have a word child and you say 10 minutes or 25 minutes, well, what are you talking about, right? That might not work as well as the other way. So Hilchas Sukkos would sound like this. There was a story from the Mizritcher Maggid that the night before Sukkos, he walked around the whole night with the lulav and the esrog, and he was shaking it. Or another way of saying this is you say, you know what Sukkos is? Sukkos is the only mitzvah all year that surrounds you. It's almost like Hashem is hugging us. Now, that sounds, Mrs. Weisberg, how are we doing?
I'm good. I'm still here. I haven't zoned out yet.
Now, no. You know, and the other way is someone jumps into an explanation. The Hadassim are supposed to be, it's either 12 inches or 11 and a half. It's a machlokes between Rav
Oh, so
Moshe
you lost me there.
Okay, here you go. Okay, so Josh, if you're a word person, that very much appealed to you. You love this story that I told about, you know, how chashuv it was to the Rav, and he sat all night waiting, anticipating the morning, or Sukkot, what it embraces us. And a word person, an Excel person, just tell me the halachas. What do you? I don't need all of this stuff. Okay. It goes, word people want to know, why should I do this? Excel people want to know, what should I do? Just give me a list. Tell me what I need to do.
So a word person.
Okay, so you're going to, if I'm your teacher, so if I don't inspire you, you're not going to be motivated to do this. And if I do inspire you and I spend 10 minutes doing that, your husband is not, or the other people like that are not going to work. Again, I want you to be aware of that's why you listen to your children. When the child says, I hate class, or I'm not enjoying this, or why am I doing this? Some kids will come home and say, why do I need to learn Gemara? It's pointless. What's the point? They argue with each other all day. That person needs a reason to do it. Okay? So again, this is my experience in looking at this. Word people want to know why, Excel want to know what they should do. I did a class in Toronto once on this, teaching the Rabbeim different personality profiles, and it was absolutely fascinating. There was 5 minutes to go. We had a hard stop because everybody had a daven mincha, and 2 hands went up. I said, okay, I only have time for one more question. So 2 Rabbeim who were sitting right next to each other, both raised their hands together. I said, look, let me take your questions together because maybe I'll be able to answer them both at the same time. I promise it went just like this. One Rebbe raised his hand and he said, Rabbi Horowitz, how did you think of this? This is amazing. I mean, I'm your age, and you know, like, how did you get to it's amazing. I'm so inspired. So how you doing? That good? And the Excel Rebbe, the Rebbe sitting right next to him, he said, do me a favor, what am I supposed to do in my class differently tomorrow than I did yesterday? Okay, so so I said, folks, we're done. I said, there you go. Okay, so one of them was totally into the emotional part, and the Excel Rebbe wanted to know what to do.